hard to do something when you know that's what you're supposed to be doing, but you constantly get distracted by what's going on around you. Today, I'm going to tell you how to overcome that distraction and lock in to build the life of your dreams. Let's get into it. All right. So good morning, good evening. What it do? How are you? Hootie hoo. Happy Friday too. I am the sound of money in your ear, dollar Avant. That's D-O-double-L. I'm often imitated, never duplicated. They call me the $1 billion Bae, aka the Pitch Queen, aka the People's Coach, aka Coach Dollar Bill. And you are in the dollhouse. This is the home of high value entrepreneurs. Over here, it is day 44 of this 100-day challenge. And if you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, this is what I do every day to get people in the energy. You're going to get a daily dose of Dollavant, definitely for this 100-day challenge, possibly every day this year. But we're going to lean in and really create a space where we normalize. Listen, you don't have to know all the answers. You want to build a business, you want to do something that means something to establish a legacy for you and your family so you can get out the way of all the craziness that's going on out here. This is a space for that. And we're going to normalize not having all the answers, but knowing that you are enough because you are everything. So today I'm going to prove to you that the world is splitting, not physically, right? But energetically. And I'm going to tell you the pathway that you need to be on as an entrepreneur so that you can continue to live in abundance. You could tap into your sovereignty, okay? Despite everything that's happening in front of us. Now, my mission here in the dollhouse is to help you graduate from hustle to habits by giving you exact playbooks so you can shift your identity from employee to entrepreneur and collapse time by learning to build your business at the speed of money. So when you're ready to normalize $10,000 months or more in your business, this is where you meet me every day, 2 o'clock. Okay, if you're watching the replays, they're on YouTube. There's some version of it will reappear on YouTube, but you just really need to jump in the Dollhouse 2.0. You'll see a link somewhere. That's my school community where all the replays, all the good stuff lives over there. Okay. So these headlines, you guys, I mean, lying is the new normal. Like just making up stuff is what we do now, apparently or allegedly or whatever. From the administration to I don't know what to tell you. Okay. That's what we're talking about today because the world is literally splitting and it's becoming a thing where you have to learn how to trust your own intuition. Let's say it that way. It is like more important than ever that you inside of your spirit, okay, can know what's true and what's right and what's good. Everything is changing right now. Business, internet, social media, coding, art, everything. And we're getting to the point with AI where pretty soon you're not going to be able to tell the difference between what's real and what's not. The narratives, the things that are being told to us as if we don't have our own two eyes. Pretty soon it's going to be difficult. You're going to have to know how to discern, how to go within and really trust your own gut and your own intuition. So I'm creating that space here where we get really great at that. Not good at it, great at it. We want to have a level of discernment so that when intuition tells you to take this action, you don't need any external validation to do it. You know what you know because you know yourself. You know what I mean? This is like the most important skill that we can learn right now as entrepreneurs. And I'm just doing my job. I'm doing my job. So remember that we don't see the world as it is. We only see 0.0035% of the available electromagnetic spectrum every day. So our brain is filling in those gaps. So I want to give you some shortcuts so that you don't have to, do a bunch of trial and error and make mistakes because honestly, you guys, we don't have time. We don't have time. So I just found out that while we were talking about Bad Bunny and arguing about the Super Bowl or whatever, they're starving people in Cuba, like intentionally, like government sanctioned starving of people. Basically, the things that were happening, let's say in Gaza, I don't know if I can even say that. Am I allowed to say that? The things that they shut down TikTok for because people were reporting from the ground what was going on over there. It's now happening in Cuba. And I'm not sure if anybody knows that because Mainstream news is not talking about it. But I want you to understand, this is from the phone calls I've gotten. Like, who am I? Who am I? These are phone calls that I've gotten, things that I'm privy to from folks in my inner circle who are working very closely in some government circles. Okay. I was told that they are practicing and testing some weapon systems and some control systems and some surveillance systems and control mechanisms. They're testing them. Venezuela. Uh, did you know that South America's on fire? Did you know that Argentina's on fire right now? Nobody's really talking about that. Whatever's happening in some of these countries in the Middle East, now Cuba. This is going to continue to happen. So there's more urgency now. There's more urgency now than there has been in a long time to really tap into what you know you're supposed to be doing, what you came here to build, what we call legacy, what we call destiny, what we call purpose, the thing that keeps you up at night, you know? But the problem is that the old way of doing business is over with. So since the explosion of entrepreneurship, since this became kind of normal, for people to be outside, like running their own business or whatever, it's kind of become normal, and much more than it was, let's say 20 years ago, right? But since that time, the old ways of how we knew, digital marketing and get a funnel and do this and do that, all that stuff that we've kind of heard garbage in, garbage out over the last 10, 15 years, those systems are also over now. Done. The way people used to just build a course and go sell it, all that, you can't build the same way. It's becoming obsolete now. And so if you combine the urgency of what's going on in the world with the fact that these tools and things that people are still hawking out here don't work anymore, it should, some people will kind of get nervous and panic a little bit. I don't want you to panic. I want you to pay attention because the world is splitting into two worlds, like I said, not physically, but there's going to be two sets of people out here, nothing in between. It's not the middle class where we could just float around and be normal and kind of do a little bit of something. And I kind of do a little bit of work and kind of do, no, it's going to be people who have some assets, some cash flow and some assets, and it's going to be everybody else. And it's not going to be looking very good for everybody else because all the institutions that we've trusted all this time, they're being either dismantled completely or restructured in a way that controls us, not allows us to have freedom. I don't know if I can overemphasize that quite enough because it's such a mindset paradigm shift from what we're used to. So it's my job to let you know that this is happening. It's coming. Okay. So don't get caught off guard. Don't be left behind. So one version of the world, one set of people in the world are going to be totally reactive. They won't see anything that's coming until it gets here. They're going to feel overwhelmed. They're going to have a dysregulated nervous system. They're going to keep chasing these old models, even though they don't work anymore. Then there's another group of people, another set of people out here who are going to be regulated. Dare I say sovereign? We're going to tap into our own sovereignty and be able to build an infrastructure so that we can have wealth and abundance and protection for our family, regardless of what's going on out here in the headlines. Okay. This is a biological split. It's not physical. It has nothing to do with your strategy or how smart you are. It's not about what niche you're in or who you can hire to do your marketing and all of that. We have to regulate our nervous system. If you have a dysregulated nervous system, it's not 2005, it's not 1985 anymore. If you don't do this inner work, you will not be able to hold the wealth that is your birthright. But you're not going to be able to hold it because the world is going to continue to just craziness. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. Capitalism is built on several factors. One is your anxiety. They need you to be in a state of anxiety, a state of stress, a state of fear, a state of, I don't know what's going on. The system feeds off of that. Okay, so that the people who control the narrative, the people who control the platforms and the channels that we use, they can say, oh, you're panicking? Don't worry. We have a solution. But all you got to do is come over here and get your digital ID and give us all your data and let us control you completely. And then if you don't do what I say, I'm going to hit the button and turn your money off. Y'all know Australia now has the same system that China has. is now in Australia. You got to use your ID to get on the internet. They're tracking everything you do, everything you watch, everything, just like China. Then when they attach it to a digital currency, game over. It's coming to America. So before it gets here, let's make some moves, right? But if you have a dysregulated nervous system, it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to hold wealth. Even if you make a little money, we have a window of time right now. This is our window. We can make a little money, you're going to start leaking it out. You'll attract opportunities, but you'll sabotage them. You'll have a great conversation with somebody, but then you won't follow up. You'll build some momentum for a second, and then you'll collapse. So we've got to pay attention. There is a split. There is a divergence that is happening. But we want to be on the right side of history. As humanity splits into these two realities, we want to be on the side where we have wealth, where we have the capacity to hold that. I'm going to tell you 3 physical signs how you know if you're actually leaking the energy. If you're leaking money, I'm going to tell you how to know. It's physiology, okay? It's in your nervous system. This is a technology. Your body is an interface, your brain specifically, an interface between the unseen and the seen. So if you can see what's going on in your body and in your brain and in your nervous system, we can address what's happening with your money. Nobody ever taught us that. It's all connected, okay? So then we want to build a business that cannot be commoditized, that you don't have to worry about it. Regardless of what's going on out here, we'll be fine, okay? So let's get into it. Like I said, the world is splitting. I have this chart somewhere. I'll share it with you guys in the resource guide, but it's this K-shaped economy. Well, that's backwards for you guys. I can't do it. Anyway, it's the K-shaped economy where you're going to have the haves and the have-nots. That's it. The middle class, everything we know about that, civil rights bubble, all that has burst. It's gone. It's done. Okay, this is not how capitalism actually works. You got to remember that. If you know your history, from 1492 and on forward, and they did the slave trade and all of that. But this sense of everybody's equal and everybody has the freedom and you can do what you want to do. That's actually not how capitalism was born. It's actually not normal. It's designed to be owners and labor. It's designed to be the masters and the slaves, right? It's supposed to be the people who own the capital and then everybody who works for them. It's really based on feudalism. So you have kings and lords, their friends around them who do what they say, the noble class, and then you got everybody else. If you've never seen Game of Thrones, you know how regular people were living? They got dirt on their face, they're just outside. Have you ever seen Annie? That's actually capitalism in its normal form. Okay, you got to think about it. The Depression was during the 30s, and then the New Deal came, and Roosevelt did some things, and we had a freaking world war, okay, that totally boosted the American economy, and there were some deals made which are now being dismantled. It's being dismantled, okay, but they made some deals at the end of World War II that made America the global reserve currency, and like the whole world just does what we say, basically. And all of us who were born into that and who've grown up knowing that is normal. And then the civil rights thing happened and they were getting terrible press. It was bad PR. They looked crazy on the world stage. That's why they passed the civil rights bills, okay? Now, fast forward to now, they don't care that we look crazy on the world stage. So guess what's the first thing they got rid of? Civil rights. Done. DEI, first day in office. No more of this. Get that out of here, okay? They're not concerned. You know how they plan to keep the U.S. dollar as the global reserve currency? We're in a currency war right now with China, if y'all don't know that. Literally right now. Did you know? This is what I want to say in the news part. Did you know that the ballroom that's being built, this is public record, so that's the only reason why I say it. Y'all can do your research. The ballroom was underneath there. They're building a bunker. They already had one. They tore it down. This was on CNN. Everything that used to be there is gone. Under the ground, gone. They're building a military city underneath the Washington, D.C. Y'all can research it. Because why? Because Beijing has one. China has one. Anyway, I'm just letting y'all know they're preparing for war. You can find videos of Trump talking about the ballroom is going to have, bulletproof glass. It's going to have, the roof will be, no drone can land on the roof. The bunker, they said it can withstand a nuclear attack. Hold on. Why we need this? What? I'm just telling y'all. They're preparing for things, okay? And we're not privy to it. They want us to keep running around talking about what Bad Bunny doing and all this kind of stuff. We have to get ahead of it. And that's what, the ancestors, if you read the Bible, like whatever you believe in, we always get advanced warning. We always get advanced insight and knowledge before things happen. Always. We are never trapped. There's always a way of escape. This is the moment to make the great escape. Okay. So it's not, and then they're using all this AI. That's how they're going to lock us down. Okay. But it's not just political. It's not just, economic. It's not technological. Biologically, the people who make the shift that I'm talking about with your nervous system and getting it together and not allowing yourself to fall back into the old frequency, not allowing yourself to fall back into, constantly being in stress and constantly being in strife and constantly letting the fact that you don't have no money turn into any kind of energetic expression from you to get you off of the frequency of abundance. If you can't figure out how to stop living that way, you're going to get caught up in what's happening, what's about to come. But if you can make this shift, you can create whatever you want and build a business around that. Okay. So if you're being reactive, you're looking outside of yourself for solutions. You're looking at how somebody's looking at you. You've externalized your power. You're making decisions based on fear, either yours or somebody around you. You're operating from a place of survival. People might be around you that are crashing out. They're crashing out every time. Oh, I don't know what to do. I don't see, because they're looking at what they could see, this little 0.0035% of the world, and they're basing their whole emotion and their whole identity as a human being on what they could see. You cannot allow yourself to be swayed by that, because your body is going to have reactions. Your dysregulated nervous system is going to get you in trouble every time. If you think you have to prove your worth through achievement, things outside of yourself, then you get into these loops. Okay, I know I need to do something. Then you start overthinking, start second guessing. You have anxiety. It's never going to work. It's never going to work. I can give you every playbook. And this is what most people do. This is why I teach entrepreneurship. This is why. Because what most people do, most programs do, they actually don't care that you're in that state. They're just going to tell you, here's the playbook. Here's everything that I did to make $10 million a day in my business. And you can just copy and paste it and send me this money, $17,000, and I'll give you the whole thing. And then they know good and well, you're going to go and borrow the money, do a payment plan, and get the playbook, and it's going to sit right there on your computer. You're not going to read it. You're not going to implement it. You're going to read like 2 pages of it, and then you're going to bounce off and go do something else, and it will be sitting right there on your computer. 3, 4, 5 years later. I know I'm right. But they don't care. They got their money and they went head on. You know what I mean? So it's like, I wanted to create something different. I wanted to create a place where we could deal with that unspoken part. Why am I not doing the thing I know I can do? I know I'm able to do, but there's a gap there. Why do I keep getting into the same type of confusion and people around me don't understand? And it's like, I'm too old. I'm at an age where I should be able to ... I need us to address that. I don't know why that keeps coming up to me. You are not too old to do anything. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. The place is always here and the time is always now. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Dare I say, we are the generation. There's a generation between, depending on who you ask. Okay, Nielsen says the millennials started in 1977. Other people say it's 1981. But anyway, there's a generation of people all the way up to say 87, 88. If you were born past that, I don't think I can count you in that. But a group of people who were born and remember what it used to be like, when Saturday morning cartoons was still a thing, when, before people were really running around with cell phones and kids used to go outside and play, and, whatever that world was. We still remember that. We have, even if it's childhood, music and how things used to be. But we also are young enough to, we understand what's going on out here as well, currently. This generation, I truly believe, we're the ones who have to deal with the remnants of all the BS. Okay, let me say it that way. Like, civil rights happened, integration, and then all of our parents and people went to college and, got the degrees and got the government jobs, and they did all of that, or they expected us to do that or whatever. But they also told us, you can do whatever you want to do. You be as individual as you want to be. Just run around, They had us running around. We weren't building community anymore. All of our institutions lost all their power. We were just running around. So we didn't really lock into the system. Like maybe we went to college or whatever, but we're like, oh, it's not for me, you know. So we're trying to just like, even if we finished college, just like, oh, okay, you know, but you had this thing. You're like, oh, I really want to do something. But we didn't have any structure to just do this other thing that we wanted to do. So if you didn't get in the system like the music industry, which is dead, if you didn't get into Hollywood or you didn't get in the NFL, the NBA, which is another system, but you didn't follow this system that was given to us, go to college, do the thing, work, drive yourself crazy, lose all your health, and just go crazy in the corporate thing. If you didn't do that, then we're stuck in the middle. And this is what I'm saying. It's us, these people that I'm speaking to in this age range, okay, that have to tap in, because we're going to be the ones to lead everybody else out. Because the people older than us, they locked in whatever the system was, and they got their little check, you know, Social Security or disability or military or whatever it was, and they're just living off their little check. Okay, they got the little house before housing became a thing, not, you know, accessible to most people, right? The people below us, they don't really care. A lot of them have checked out. They're like, as long as I'm having fun, I talk to my friends, I'm on my phone, it's fine. It's like they don't even understand what it means to try to build something, most of them. But us right here, we're like, we understand we're supposed to be building something, but also we don't believe in these systems. What are we supposed to do? We're the ones who have to demonstrate what it means to build something from the inside out. Okay? Because we know there's more. We know we're brilliant. We know what we can do. We know it's possible. But we know we can't do it the way that everybody else is doing it. So it's more important for us than anybody else to actually learn to do this the right way from the inside out. Okay. If we get this right, more speed, more internalized power, more decisions driven by a regulated nervous system. You'll be operating from a place of stability and certainty. You'll be doing things that are in alignment with your identity, who you really are and what you really believe, instead of trying to prove yourself all the time. You will have a lot of clarity and your actions will be more integrated, again, with who you really are, for real. Calm, peaceful, quiet, grounded, self-sourced, like breathing, you know what I mean? Like this will be the new normal. And then other people will be like, how are you doing that? They're going to end up following us. The older ones will follow us and the younger ones will follow us once we get this right. I believe that we're called to be leaders in this way. Because I'm saying this, I don't know why this is a thing, but I know for a fact that there are a lot of people in this age range who are like not where you're supposed to be in corporate, don't have the house and the car and the this and the that you're supposed to have at this age necessarily. You maybe, you know, turned down a lot of stuff in the past, or you had something and it went left, or, you know, whatever. But you still have this vision and this dream and this thing that's driving you, but you got people around you looking at you crazy, like you're supposed to have it figured out by now. What are you doing? I know I'm not making this up. I hear it in the sessions. Okay, so if you can relate to that, just lean in. I'm talking to you. Okay. Now here's the thing. Both pathways, the one that you keep living based on what you can see and kind of freaking out, leaving from the outside in, and this other sovereign way of being, they both exist simultaneously at the same time. We're in the same families. We're surrounded by the same people in the same communities. We got the same stuff coming on our social media feeds, but we're going to get totally different outcomes based on if we make this shift. Okay. And it's not just happening to you. This is a shift in humanity. Like I said, all these old economic structures are collapsing. Information is saturated. They're making up narratives in our face. We're sitting here looking at the information and they're like, yeah, that's not true. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. That's what's happening right now. If y'all saw Wizard of Oz. So everything that we knew and everything that's traditional, everything we were taught to believe in has become obsolete. So this is what is emerging to replace it. The people who can learn how to go within and regulate your system and build a business based on that, you're going to be the leaders of the new world. You will be inheriting the new economy. It's not based on who's the smartest or who has the most connections or who has the most credentials. That's not what counts where we're headed, okay? It's who is most tapped in, the most grounded, the most regulated, the most unbothered, who's living from the inside out and know yourself, trust your intuition, don't play about it. I live by this energy. People who do that are going to be winning, because when you're able to regulate your internal nervous system and live from the inside out, that expands your capacity. Okay, that expands your capacity. So it's probably going to be less than 10% of the global population. Okay, mind you, I'm not talking about the people who already got money and they're just going to do what they do. I'm talking about the ones who we grew up thinking normal, middle class is normal and just floating around as normal. It's not safe to do that anymore. Okay. So there's going to be less than 10% of the rest of the world's population who can remain calm under extreme pressure. I mean, societal shifts we never thought we would see in our lifetime. Things that have happened in other countries, mind you. This is real stuff. Like I don't know if people are students of history like I am, but I need you to understand that when there have been revolutions in other countries, people keep using the word revolution that's happening in America right now. When there have been revolutions in other countries, and when an authoritarian government gets involved, like I don't know if y'all remember Tiananmen Square, if y'all remember that, whatever they were protesting in China and things were going on, and all these students went out in the middle of the Capitol thing out there, or in the main part, and protested. I want you to understand that whoever was in charge was like, send the tanks. And they rolled people over in the street. I mean, literally. The weapons that are being used, there was a weapon that was used in Venezuela when they did that January 3rd. The reports are now coming out about a weapon that they used on those people in Gaza. I don't even know what to say. It's the most horrible thing I've ever heard. Basically, it's like a thermal bomb, and it goes like 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit, 6,000 something. You basically instantly disintegrate or whatever. That's illegal. Like these weapons are illegal, like according to the international whatever. They're using them. Anyway, so Tiananmen Square happens, and all these people get killed. But then the part that makes it worse, they silenced everybody and started disappearing people who were trying to tell what happened. They literally would erase the newspaper articles. They changed the narrative. They wrote different articles. They said that never happened. This was before the internet, but they were just like, it never happened. Nothing to see here. They changed the official record. Okay. The level of insanity, the worst things that you could think of or maybe that you read about in history books. What if they start doing that again in places where you live or to people that you know? Can you remain calm under that kind of pressure? Can you feel deeply, go through the fear and get past it instead of collapsing into old patterns? Can you make decisions? Like there could be urgency externally, but still make decisions based on what you know your intuition is telling you to do. Can you live without getting hijacked by the news, by opinions, about other people's emotions? Are you tapped into your internal sovereignty? When I say you are the value, you are enough, you are everything, can you tap into that and allow that to lead you to the external freedom? This is what it means. We need to redefine elites. We keep saying, oh, the elites are doing this. It's not about money, because who knows how these people got their money and on whose backs they got it, right? But we can do this. We can build it from the inside out in a way that's sustainable and be okay. We will be the leaders of the new world, okay? So it's not about greed, control, and manipulation. When I say elite, we're expanding our capacity. We're tapping into abundance as our birthright. Okay? We can do this. Once we do it, it's going to raise the consciousness of the people around us. That's what's beautiful about this. When you get yourself together, when you start tapping in, it's going to impact the people that are close to you. And then when they get it together and they rise and they start tapping in, so forth and so on. This is the revolution. When they say the revolution will not be televised, this is why, because it's inside of you. Okay. I can stop right here. I really can. Okay. So when you're calm, I'm telling you, this is what's going on right now. We're not going to make it unless we make this shift. Okay. When we calm down, your calm creates calm. Your sovereignty gives other people permission to walk in their sovereignty. This is calm leadership. This is quiet leadership. It's like, listen, I understand your concerns. I see what's going on. I understand why this is, maybe difficult for you. But here's what I know. And that level of internal certainty that you show up, they're going to be like, well, They want you to freak out. It's like, what are you doing? No, you don't have to do all of that. But you have to really believe this, okay? But once you meditate and you really believe, listen, from this place of abundance, everything, it has to work. What do you mean? What are you saying? What are you talking about? It's like, I don't know. I don't have to know. The system is working. Do you really think, listen, this is what I'm trying to tell you. A CEO of a major company, Salesforce purchased Slack for $27 billion, if I'm not mistaken. Facebook bought Instagram when they had 13 employees for like $1 billion. Google purchased they do the same thing in air quality that we do for water. They have dozens of competitors. We have zero. So think about it, what that means for my company's valuation. But we got the same award at the same time from NASA. They were purchased by Google for $250 million. I want you to understand that a CEO of a company, anytime you get past like 50, this has been proven, like 50 employees, the CEO doesn't even know everybody in the company, let alone know every single thing that's going on in the company. So it's actually ludicrous for you to think, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I gotta figure it out. No, you don't. No, you don't. There's the system. Okay, we need to let the universe cook. You don't have to know everything. You have to regulate your internal nervous system. You have to not let your emotions get out based on what you can see external to you. Okay, that's what you have to do, because from that place you're tuned into the frequency, so you can get an idea or get a thought, or let me do this, some wisdom can kick in, or you can get a phone call like I got one today. I don't know. Actually, he called me yesterday. I didn't even see the phone call. I missed the call. Okay, cool. I call back. We have a whole new distribution partner in the Northeast. Just 2-minute conversation. Thank you. Well, I don't have to know how we're going to expand and do what we need to do. I just know that that's what we're doing. You have to trust the system. And you are part of that system. And as long as you regulate self, it's working. This is not like, I believe. It's literally how the universe is constructed and designed. This is how it works. Nobody want to tell you this. They want to tell you that it's crazy to think like this, which is why this is how they stay in control. They want you to think you need to go to college. You need to get a certification. You need to go over here. You need to go to church 5 times a week. You need to pray. You need to give them your whole check at the church. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to run in circles 3 times. You got to do something outside of you to tap into this abundance. And I'm telling you, no, you don't. Okay. And then once you are regulated in that, you're going to create a model for other people's abundance. They're either going to line up or they're going to bounce off. But you don't change. You don't change. Okay. You will become the example. We are the leaders of the new world. Okay. So listen, this is new identity. All right. And your nervous system becomes the infrastructure for this new reality that you're building. It's not based on your structure or your strategy. It's not based on your skill set. It's not based on your intellect. It's not based on your network and all of that. You can have all of those things, but you won't be able to hold it. You won't have the capacity to hold it. You will go to a meeting, meet the people, and be like, we had a great meeting, and then you won't follow up until you regulate your nervous system. Okay? And you drop into survival mode. It's dangerous to live there. Why? Because your perception narrows down to this 0.0035% of what you can see in the light, in the electromagnetic spectrum. You start shrinking yourself. You can only think linearly. You're trying to figure it out linearly. You're like, okay, I need to do this so that this can happen, so this can happen. You don't know how it's going to happen. What is this? No, I don't want to do that. You don't know how it's going to happen. You have to trust the system. You start reacting because of scarcity and you leak energy. I'm talking about this. And you end up repelling wealth. Versus when you make the shift, your perception will expand. You'll see lateral moves you can make. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have better IQ as an athlete, you can see the field differently versus just being so myopic. You'll respond from a place of abundance. You'll hold the energy, and wealth and abundance and opportunity will be drawn to you. Okay. So you can affirm and do all of that all day, but if you don't deal with the internal work, it's not nothing else you do is going to work. This is the foundation. Okay. You don't need money to make money. You don't need when I could just get free, when I could just get settled, when I can just then I will get calm. It doesn't work like that. You have to do it and stabilize yourself internally first. Okay. So you can have a non-reactive state. You can feel calm even when circumstances are frustrating. You can have grace for people who are freaking out around you. I understand how you feel, but we're fine. Well, I don't tell me how we're gonna be fine. We're fine. You don't have to have no answers. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You can love yourself even when it didn't work out. Even when you said you were going to do this thing last night, 2 nights, 3 nights went by and you didn't get it done. Still love yourself. You can honor yourself even when other people don't. Because you know that you're good enough. You know that you're tapped in. You know you're following your intuition. You're doing what you need to do. You don't need external validation. And more importantly, this is training because, again, when the world goes nuts around you, you're going to need this level of trust that you're building with yourself and your own intuition right now. Those same people who are freaking out right now are going to be looking to you for answers when the world shifts. Okay? So let's develop this muscle now. Trust your intuition more than you trust what you see outside of you. And if you do that long enough, what you see outside of you has to change. It's impossible for it to stay the same. Okay? So we don't have to chase anything, do all that. We don't have to do all that. We don't have time for that. Okay? So let's get to, I want to talk about how do you know if you're leaking energy? How do you know how to tighten this up? Okay, if you are feeling magnetic, you're attracting opportunities naturally, you feel alive, money is just flowing to you, your phone is ringing, things are happening. Boom. If you're feeling like opportunities are passing you by, you feel depleted, money's flowing away from you, you feel discouraged, you have a leak. Okay. Think of your nervous system like a battery. When it's fully charged, you're on the frequency of abundance. You're gonna feel what you need to feel. If it's low, you're gonna have a different set of problems. Okay, so it shows up. This is how you know if you have a leak. It's gonna show up as a physical pattern in your body, and each one of these people don't think is related to their money, but it actually is. Okay, so physically think about your body right now, even how you're sitting or when you're driving a car, or when you're sitting at the desk or when you're working. If you're clenching, if any part of your body is clenching up, your toes, your fingers, or your jaw, your neck, your shoulders are hunched all the time, or your hips, you locked up, just like that's kind of how you sit and you don't even notice that you're doing that. Or if you're holding your breath, especially when you get stressed, this is a sign you're contracting. Okay. And energetically, you're telling the universe that you don't have space to receive anything. So this is why we need yoga. This is why we need meditation, all the things. You have to train your body to stay in a state of receiving and openness. Okay. If you find yourself scrolling all the time aimlessly, binge watching, talking about, or researching, but you really just scroll for hours and hours and hours. If you binge watch to try to relax, to try to get yourself back right, not because, oh, I finally get my time to watch my show, like intentionally, if you're doing it to try to make yourself feel better, if you're eating or even drinking compulsively just to try to make yourself feel better, random sexual activity, not from desire or connection, but you just try to make yourself feel better, or constantly like imagining or daydreaming, but never taking any action, you're leaking. This is a leak. This is an energetic leak. Okay. If you learn how to control that and channel that into your work, it becomes magnetism, charisma. It becomes your creative power. But when you dissipate it, you lose your ability to generate wealth. I'm just telling you, it's all connected. Okay. So when you binge watch and you kind of numb yourself with all these crazy activities, you'll notice that you start to lose momentum. There's no flow in your business, no new opportunities are coming to you because you're dissipating your energy. That is the energy. We need that energy. Put that into the work. Put that into, let me go call 5 people. Put that into, let me reach out and, let me do something I normally wouldn't do, but it's been on my mind to do. Let me just call this organization. Let me just see. You don't know what's on the other side of you stepping out on your intuition. So channel that energy into something that's going to carry you forward, not into trying to make yourself feel better because you're leaking. Okay. If you feel bloated after you eat, you can't absorb, you're having physical problems with eating and going to the bathroom and like weird stuff is going on. You got food sensitivities and stuff. It's a sign that your energy is off. That means it's a capacity issue. You need to heal something. You need to do something. Okay. Your organs get all dysregulated and discombobulated. All of this is connected, y'all. Your gut. Okay. So you got to release and you got to balance. You have to do this. Pay attention to the signs. So if I'm telling you that this is a technology and I'm telling you like these are like a light on the dashboard. If you find yourself doing any of these things, you're kind of spiraling. It's like the engine light coming on. Don't just ignore it. Talking about, yeah, well, when I get some money, then I'll take care of myself. No. This is affecting your ability to make some money. Please understand that. Until you lock into a system that creates it for ongoing for you, we're in the no man's land right now. We're in between a job and a good life. We have left whatever was normal and comfortable and whatever system we were on. We jumped out of that plane. Now we got to build a plane and learn how to fly it and take off in the new plane on the way down before we hit the ground. That's what starting a business is. So we don't have time to be spiraling out because eventually you're gonna crash. Okay. So pay attention to the signs. Don't just keep going. Don't just say, well, I just need to feel like I need something for myself. I need to don't do that. Do the meditation, do the inner work, do what you need to do so that you can show up in the morning and feel good. Start your day feeling good. Keep your nervous system regulated all day long. Make decisions from that place. Create from that place. Do your work from that place. Follow your schedule from that place. And if your body starts telling you something is off, if you feel yourself clenching up, or something's going on with your digestion and whatever else is happening, you need to check that. Don't ignore it because that's a sign. Okay. You actually, when they call, you talk about your gut, entrepreneurship is a game, GAME. The first thing we do is a gut check. Your gut is your second brain, right? You actually have like 100 million neurons, whatever, in your gut. 90% of your serotonin is produced in your gut. So if you're imbalanced in your gut, it's going to affect your whole nervous system. It's going to make you feel anxious, scattered, reactive, and you're going to make poor financial decisions. This is just science, y'all. It's just science. So if you're impulsively spending, compulsively eating, overdoing anything, too much drinking, too much anything, it's like, I know I shouldn't do it, but I'm doing it anyway. This is your energy being dissipated. Okay. So we got to fix it. We can do it. We can do this. That's going to help you stay strong in the face of whatever you're dealing with, whether that's people around you or whether that's the circumstances that are going to be changing. It's just a matter of time before it gets to your city. Okay. So if you're here, this is why I love it here in the dollhouse, because if you're here, that means that your intuition, your higher self led you here to let you know that, you know what, it's time. You don't have to be drained anymore. You can make the shift so you can go ahead and build some sustainable wealth and be okay. We can do this. Okay. So if you made the commitment to live from this place all the time, then I can give you all the playbooks and tell you exactly what to do. And you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Okay. So let's build this into our reality. Everything is shifting. AI is shifting. The market is shifting. Jobs are going away. Like you can't just, I'll just go back and get a job. Those days are gone. We have to figure this out. Okay. So before, people were just kind of selling static, even when they started businesses or try to go online or digital marketing or whatever, they would just sell a static product or like a course or something like that. And that's it. And that's fine. But the market has evolved, okay? Everybody's exhausted. There's 10,000 courses and consultants, and there's 10,000 different shea butters and uh different, whatever your product is, there's 10,000 of them. Somebody has already seen that on Instagram or somewhere, okay? So what people are buying into now is brand. And on the 7 C's of social capital, I don't use the word brand. I say confidence. There is a narrative that will get attached to you, your work, and what you do. And other people will start speaking that narrative about you because they've had an experience with you. And that brand, that narrative, that community, that confidence is what becomes the differentiator. So that people are willing to now lend their social capital to you. They have confidence that every time I get this food, it's going to be amazing. Every time I go to them for some advice, I'm going to get my life changed. Every time, I do the thing, I'm going to get results. They have confidence. And that becomes the narrative. And that's your differentiator. That's how you stand out. That's how you build a community. That's how you make some money. So some people, everybody just want to kind of put something together, throw it out there and just, blah, blah, and just where the money at. And it doesn't work like that anymore. Okay. People don't want another course that they're not going to finish. Information they could have found on Google. They don't want something that feels static or slow. They also don't want to get into a whole relationship with you. Like, I got to come to you and talk to you all day, every day, and you got to get in there with me. What if I don't want that? What if I just want the solution? Where's that? What if I want to learn how to do it myself? You got to meet people where they are. Okay? Because now with AI, people can go and think they know what they're doing. Think they can find some information and do all that. So why would they come and pay you? What are you bringing to it that they can't just go Google? And this is the thing. What you need to build for people. And this is true whether you have a product, service, it doesn't matter. Coaching, consultant, doesn't matter. You need to build experiences for people because they can't find that anywhere else. This is a second version of your mind. This is like they can go in as if they were accessing your brain, but you're not necessarily there. By the time you finish building this out, it should be a world of content, experiences that take them somewhere that they couldn't go on their own. Okay, this is something that feels interactive, but we're going to do it at scale. Like for somebody to get you hands-on, by the time we build this out, like your first 50, you're going to be very hands-on talking to people directly because you want the feedback. You want to do that. You want to get some early clients, some early testimonials. Boom. Now we got to learn how to digitize that narrative and put it out, where people can see it who are not in our direct, arm's length sphere of influence. But after that, you would have built out a world where they could be paying you, but may never be talking to you one-on-one. It should cost a whole lot of money to get to you by the time we get to level 3 of this video game. That's where we're headed, okay? So back in the day, like before, like way back in the day, before modern society, whatever, people used to do apprenticeships. That's the way, really before that, we used to do tribes, right? And you would sit under the elders and that's how you got knowledge. Then they moved to like this model of apprenticeship. And so, a blacksmith wasn't like giving a written manual to the junior little kid to say, okay, go read this and or go take a class and I'm writing on a whiteboard like that. He would learn by walking alongside, the blacksmith. That's how you learn. And when I say I'm a coach, that's kind of what I mean, like learning by doing. Like, okay, what are we doing? Let me lean in on what you're doing. And let me help you make adjustments along the way. So now the trick is, how do we take that same level of personalized, interactive guidance that you could give somebody? If you have a product, can you embed that same energy into your product? I'm talking about just like Apple, like the box design, the instructions, the course, scan this QR code when you open the box and it's going to take you and have a video from you, or how can you create an experience around your physical product that's what people are buying when they buy the product? And if you have coaching and consulting, even more so, how can you create personalized interactive guidance for people at scale? This is where we're headed. So the first phase, again, there's only 3 levels to this video game. First phase, we are talking to humans, 50 people. I need you to treat it like a video game for real. What is your hypothesis? Like the questions that I ask you should be able to answer them. What is your worldview? What is your hypothesis? What is your mission? Whatever. Okay. So I believe the reason why people are not making no money is because they're trying all these tools and tactics, but they don't shift their internal identity as entrepreneurs. And they don't develop this internal capacity for wealth. So they keep looking for things outside of themselves instead of understanding you are the value. You're not going to get what you want. You get who you are. Okay. So what transformation do you want to provide? I want to help people go from having this idea in my head. I know I'm brilliant. I know I'm smart. I know I could do it. Da, 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 da. Talk. Run. Meatballs and alcohol, just running around. 3 years later, we're not making no money. I want you to go from that to I have systems in place. I know how to tell my story. I control my own community. I have a business that works without me. I'm making more than $10,000, $20,000 a month, and I can do what I want to do. I can buy assets and move on with my life. I can help you get there. Okay. So what is that for you? What's your worldview? And what's this transformation that you provide? I ask the same question all the time because this is so foundational, fundamental to what we do as entrepreneurs. It can't be, I'm not sure, I just want to help people. Like this. It's not enough. We need more clarity. Once we know what that is, take that, put it in the form of the 5-star pitch, the Afro method. Go physically talk to 50 people and get them into a conversation with you where you can go through the whole Afro method, aspirations, frustrations, get the language, tell them what you do, get the reflection back. Okay, it sounds like, would you like to be on a waiting list? I'm going to be doing a cohort in a couple of weeks. Do you know anybody else who needs this? Keep going, get referrals, call everybody, go to organizations, whatever you got to do till you talk to 50 people. And as you're talking to them, look for the frequently asked questions, look for the patterns in the problem language, look for what they're talking about, look for, build you out a framework. Okay, most people are starting right here. So I got to deal with this first. Then we're going to do this. And then we're going to do that. Boom. Now we got a framework. Now give me guides, tools, content, conversations, podcasts, articles, videos, all the way along that journey. If somebody is right here, they're dealing with this. If somebody's right here, they probably have this question. If somebody's dealing with this part, they're thinking about this. If somebody's in this situation, they probably need this. You should have tools, guides, PDFs, videos, webinars, workshops, everything to meet people along the journey, right? And we take the best of that, the best performing pieces of that, and put some of it behind a paywall. Okay? This is what I recommend to you. You need to take this course, this thing, this da-da-da-da-da. You can get started for this price. If you want me fully hands-on, it's going to be this price. You're in business. So now we have a system for talking to people, a system to let more people know what we're doing and how those conversations are going, and a system where they could pay us some money and walk that journey on their own time. You have just freed yourself from the financial grid. You're off the grid. That's literally all we have to do. So feel free to give me some feedback, but I know that it's like, dang, when Dawn says it sounds really simple. So tell me what happens when we go back to do the work ourselves. Why is it not that simple?
Greetings, doll.
Hey, greetings.
This is beautiful. I'm locked into this. I guess for me, when it's not simple, it's because I'm still trying to take shortcuts. Like when you say talk to real humans, I'm like, now you just said the words, go outside and physically. I'm like, oh, okay. I was considering some warm or hot leads as talk, or even cold leads, talking
Mhm.
to humans, or kind of connecting with somebody and then kind of waiting and building whatever I was building for them to get them to say yes. That's more of me working on that human. So I guess it's taking the shortcuts for me is what keeps me from doing it. It
Mhm.
does sound super easy. And when I apply it, it's it's sort of like you've been saying, the wax on, wax off. It's like you're saying talk to humans, but in actuality, what's going to happen is I'm going to learn karate, I'm going to learn kung fu, I'm going to make money because when I do talk to humans, it don't take 50. Like by the second or third,
Right.
I'm already making money. Like they're already wanting something. So I like what you're saying, and I think a couple of weeks ago you started changing the language where it used to be you said spend 20% of your time doing administrative work, and now you flipped it and you're saying the same thing. You're like, you need to spend 80% of your time outside. I'm like, damn, that's so deep. How she realized just because she said 20%, we didn't already figure out like, okay, that means 80% speaking of humans. Now you're like, no, let me just say what we need to be doing because they're only thinking about the 20%. They're not thinking about what they need to be doing for that 80. So I'm liking how you're finding us where we're at and you keep tweaking the language to say the things in multiple ways so that you can hit different parts of our brains in on the different days that we're going to be able to connect to it. So yes.
Okay, that makes sense. So yes, no shortcuts. And obviously you could do stuff virtually, you could do it on Zoom, stuff like that. But actually talking to people as opposed to, well, I posted this week. If there's no feedback loop, it doesn't count for what I'm saying. So that makes sense. But yeah, by having those real interactions, it gives you the momentum that you need. You need something to show, you need something to reflect back to you that you're headed in the right direction. And if you stay in your head too long, you're not getting that feedback loop. But if you go and talk to people, it's like, oh my God, they really were interested. Oh my God, they really do want to do something. It makes it a lot easier. Um, I want to be the most of a resource that I could be for you guys. And that to me means what you just said, meeting you exactly where you are. It does no good for me to, other than I know I need to help reprogram our brains, and I'm going to do that every day regardless. But it does me no good to be talking about, build an email newsletter out or something like that, and you're not on that part. Like if we're still struggling with the 5-star pitch, I need to be talking about that. If we got that part down, like what part are we on? So I know what part I need to be working on, or working with you guys on. But the main thing is talking to enough people, documenting what you're talking to them about, and then taking that and building on it for the next round of tools, not just tools, but experiences, content, conversations, workshops. Like your creativity, it should be in this. It should be in creating experiences and moments and places that people can meet you along their journey. So it is having a hypothesis about, what you think people need, going out and confirming that hypothesis by talking to them and about what you think they need and them telling you what they really need, and then building a world around. Now we have a hypothesis about the journey that they're on from this problem state to the solution state. So let me see if I could be more specific. Like I'm saying, we got to go from I got this idea, I'm really brilliant, okay, to I have a system in place that's making me 10, 20, $30,000 a month. I know where my money's coming from. I'm not confused. Everything's everything. Okay. How do I help you guys get there? First thing I do, I start with the 5-star pitch. The reason why I do that is because it not only helps us to clarify what is your hypothesis about the value you're bringing into the world, but it also, um, what it does is it shows me where you are energetically, because words are containers for energy. So the way you talk about your work when I first meet you right out the gate, it lets me know where you are energetically. So we always start the 5-star pitch. And then that gives me a gauge to now build a program and a process out for you individually. But most people, once you get the 5-star pitch together, then I'm going to be like, okay, cool, perfect. Now go talk to some humans. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to sell. Okay, that's the Afro method. You know what I mean? Like, this is what you need to do. And so we go through that part. And then after that, we need to build somewhere for them to go. So like the opportunity at the end of the 5-star pitch would be like your first kind of call to action, your first landing page, your early version of your email, newsletter, or whatever that is. But we don't know yet. But we have to get started first. So I give you like a very basic starting point for all of those things. Okay. Did you really talk to 50 humans? Some people actually do this. Then it's like, great, I want you to do it again. And we're also going to be on social media while we do it. So take the findings, take what works, take what people have responded well to, conversations about what you learned on this journey. Now let's start posting on social. Depending on what channel, what platform you choose, there are different ways to show up for people. And invite them into this call to action that you built for them. And, keep going, do it again. And you're getting more people. Keep talking to humans until you can hit a button. When can I stop just actively going out and finding humans to talk to? You can stop when you can hit a button, send an email to your list, or put a post out on social media and make thousands of dollars from that post. When your business reaches that point, then you don't have to actively every day, every week, go and try to find real live humans to talk to. Because that means you've gotten enough momentum to where you're many to many. Your narrative is working for you. Okay? And that's it. That's the video game. Let me figure out how to talk to humans. I got a hypothesis. Let me talk to my first group of 50. Okay? And I'm posting along the way. And give them a call to action, somewhere to go. If they get to the end of the Afro method and they're excited, they want to do something, let me give them a next step. Level 1. Level 2, let me find another set of 50 humans. But let me also make sure I'm showing up on social media. I'm showing up on public speaking, platforms. I'm working with organizations. I'm partnering with people to reach their community as well. I want to keep this narrative going with as many people as I could talk to. I should be better at it this time around. And then invite them into an offer. That offer should be better than it was the first time. Not just want to buy something, but a world that you're building for them so they can get their questions answered and have an experience with you along this journey. And then keep doing that until I can hit a button, I can send an email, I can write an article, I can, put out a video and have so much traction coming back that I make money. Now we got a business. It sounds simple, but it requires so much support, and that's what this community is for. So I really hope that you guys really start leaning in and using me as a resource more, and that's going to help me to create the tools that are going to meet you where you are. Versus if I'm just teaching you what I know, like there's no need of me giving you all this information and it's overload because you're not going to use it. It's going to drop back down to the old, overload, and it's too much and I'm overwhelmed. Like, there's no reason why everybody in here should not be making money, especially because you could literally call me on my phone. Most of you. I see somebody streaming over here too. Shout out to y'all on the streaming. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you got a coach in your pocket. You got AI as a tool to help you go faster. You have everything you need to be successful. So if you do the inner work and you feel the power, you feel like you need to feel, then when you're ready, let's start the journey. I got y'all. I really do. So give me some feedback. And if not, enjoy your weekend. I mean, I will be live tomorrow. I know it's Valentine's or whatever. So people can't get on. I get that. But I'll be here every day at 2:00. Every day. So drink your water, mind your business. Let the truth make you free. Only comes from experiential knowledge. That means you got to go out here and apply the knowledge. Applied knowledge is wisdom. And if you show up and walking in wisdom every day, it's impossible for you to not make money. So on that note, y'all enjoy your Friday evening, okay? I'll see you on the next one. Till then, I gotta go. We're out. Pew!